love them, tender touch them, different gal every day. Come and love them, tender touch them. But I'm gonna get a run up the guys and youth. What makes me do? Love them. Woo. Yeah. Yeah, your boy's sick. Your boy's sick. Let's just go ahead and we ain't even gonna warm up. We gonna hop right into it again. Forgive my dying laptop. Forgive my dying laptop, ladies and gentlemen, classy ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the live stream. Welcome back to the channel. I know it's been a while. It's been about like 2 weeks. Your boy has been sick for the past week, and as you can see, I'm starting to get off of it now. It's finally left behind my eyes. You know what I'm saying? I've never had a cold like this before, and a friend was saying, "Oh, did you catch the flu or something like that?" I don't know, but I do know that when I was at work, someone came up to me. I ain't gonna say which demographic it was, but coughed directly into my airspace. You see what I'm saying? It's not, and this is coming off of me just walking around work, just thinking to myself, man, I've been doing so well. Usually I get sick like once every 6 years. It's been 3 years. Let's keep it going. Boom, boom, boom. Right in my face. Right in my face. Not even a good cover. And that wasn't like it was a in my face. It was a I literally left. I jumped out the freaking way, but it was too late. It was too late. Let me tell y'all something, man. The next time that ever happens to me, I don't care if I'm at work or not, I'm causing a scene. I'm causing a scene. Some of these people so lucky I'm so damn introverted. I'm causing a scene next time. Because I'm not in the wrong here. How you coughing? You supposed to? Do people forget like actual manners and courtesy? When you cough, you're supposed to cough away from people. You're not just supposed to cover up. You're supposed to turn from where most of the people or where the people are. Shorty didn't even cover well. Huh. My fault. And y'all wonder why I keep wearing masks? Huh? You wonder why I keep wearing masks? I don't get sick. It's been 3 years since I've been sick. And I've been sick for a week. I'm usually sick for no more than 3 days. And it was like my body was trying to decide, should we give him a fever? Should we not? Should we give him a fever? Should we not? When have I ever had something like that? Cover your... It's too early to cuss on stream. But cover uno... Molt. Insert expletive. Cover on a... Anyway, that's basically where I've been for the past week. So a lot has been going on since then. I don't know why I put on this hand sanitizer, because this thing just dries out my hands and it does not help my nasal passage. I don't know why I just did that. I really don't know why I just did that. But anyway, without further ado, let me stop the ranting and raving. We're going to go ahead and get into it. So we're going to talk about a couple of things this live stream. We're going to go over our updated mock draft, which I'm pretty sure a lot of people like, and I like doing too. So we're going to go over the updated mock draft. I wish my laptop would do. Why is every time I stream, my laptop now wants to, sound like a freaking Game of Thrones dragon and every time I stream, like usually I'm upstairs, I'm doing work on it and stuff like that. It's nice and quiet. You can't hear the fan. Now I come downstairs, freaking start streaming and nah. So again, I apologize. I promise you, if I were to stay freaking true on YouTube and post as much as I should post now that I got monetized 2 years ago, probably would have used the money to get a new laptop. Hell, I would have used the money to get new glasses. What the hell? But a bugger girl, I run off the guys are you. What do you expect me to do? Come and love them, tender touch them, different girl every day. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into it. Yeah, we're going to go over our mock draft. I'm trying to decide if I should include the little Paul Pierce tangent I saw on Twitter. We might have to save that for another video because I actually, in terms of all the old head ideas I've been hearing these past few weeks about tanking this, tanking that, rookie number one pick this, number one pick that. It's just like, y'all know why we keep acting like all of these things are a problem now. I hate how everyone jumps on the same talking points at one time. It just feels, I'm not saying it's disingenuous, but I'm just like, it's convenient. Y'all should have been talking. We should, like, where was this when the Mavs got the number one pick, and where Wemby went to the Spurs, just the Spurs got the number one. Where was all this? Where was all the outrage then, calling the ish rigged when Zion went to the Pelicans after trading AD? Where was all of this then? Where are all the tanking measures then? Now everybody wants to, backpack it and oh, this is how we got to change tanking. This is how we got to change the game. I don't know. I don't know even what to call it or how I find it. I'll just say I find it funny when everyone starts hopping on the same talking points as everyone else. I don't know if that makes sense, but that's just me being an old head. Yeah, we're gonna talk about this updated these updated CBA announcements. The Chicago Sky practice facility. I don't know if we're gonna get into that, but you know what? We can start with that, and I'll just say this because I don't plan to cover it for long. Where are the construction pictures? What happened when I need to see the construction pictures? I don't really care about, the renderings, by the way, that look pretty basic to me. They look pretty basic to me. I saw a couple of pictures on Twitter. I really, really do need to get OBS one of these days. But I saw a couple of pictures on Twitter of the renderings of like the final product and how it's gonna look with all the 3D stuff, and how they show the pictures and showcase the pictures of how the inside of the arena is gonna look, the facility is gonna look, and everything. And I was just like, all right, cool. I don't know if it's just me. I'm not saying that it's a bad thing that they have it. It just looked awfully. It looked awfully standard. Looks new, it's cool. It's nice. You got a press area, the makeup room and stuff for the athletes, the gym. Now that I think about it, I didn't even see the workout area. I did not see the workout area. But it looked like the standard. It looked like the Seattle Storm facility. Even though I like Seattle's because it's simple and clean, never will complain about something being simple and clean, but it was just giving like standard, to use y'all terms. It was giving a standard package. it was giving standard package. It was giving a basic Netflix deal. That's what that shit looked like. It was giving one login user only. That's what that shit looked like. It didn't look like a family plan. It looked like you know what I'm saying? It looked like the basic plan. That's what that facility looked like in comparison to New York, or what I'm pretty sure the Indiana Fever are gonna build, because they're not moving Caitlin Clark anytime soon. You know what I'm saying? And that fan base and whatever. I did see a picture of the lockers, like the locker rooms, and I feel like they took a page out of, I don't know if it's the same company that's going to be doing New York's practice facility, and I believe New York's practice facility is going to be ready by the 2027 season. I don't know if it was the same company, but I do know that I was looking at one of the pictures on Twitter, and it looked like they might have those walk-in lockers, which I thought was pretty cool. I ain't gonna hold you. I thought that ish was pretty cool, because it looked like you could see the jerseys, and then where they put the jerseys on that white LED backdrop. But I saw handles on like a pretty sizable part of each locker, right? And it was like not the pullover. It was like maybe like a door handle, and you walk in. I thought that shit would be dope. The walk-in locker concept for some of these teams, I think, is so cool. I think it's the dopest shit ever. Like, maybe they're taking a page out of what New York is about to have, but now that I think about it, I don't want to bring her back up again, but damn. Can you imagine? Yeah, no, low key, that must be ass. If your team is about to get hella upgrades and you get kicked, or you like lose your job, or you get traded or damn, that must be booty. But if you're Dana Evans, I guess it kind of works out because she went from Chicago to Vegas, and she also won a chip, crazy-ish. But transactions in this league are some not something to mess with. Anyway, where am I going with this? All I'm saying is I saw a picture of the Chicago Sky facility in terms of them creating a new practice facility. It looks very standard. Not saying that it doesn't look nice, it just looks very standard. And I'm more so looking for the construction photos because I haven't seen that. I Talk Hoops on Twitter was saying that the facility should be done by spring. And people were reposting it, talking about, well, which spring? You don't know this organization and whatnot. And then I was thinking about it. I was just like, oh yeah, I don't think, assuming, trying to remember here, I don't think I saw I Talk Hoops say spring 2026, spring 2027, spring 2028. I don't remember seeing a year. So he just said spring. So they just said spring. With no construction photos, I'm just like, can we get somebody to drive by where the location is supposed to be, and let's see if we find some construction photos, because yeah, it seems that every piece of construction nowadays is just taking longer than it should. Not even pertaining to sports, but just like some of these developments they want these townhouses so badly, but they taking 2 years just to get the damn skeleton of the house down. It seems like every piece of construction is taking a minute. Okay. Excuse me. I really am like, I'm stuffy, but I'll take being stuffy over whatever the hell I was experiencing for the last week. So hopefully you all can hear me. Now, let's go ahead and hop into this new CBA. Okay, or the CBA update. A lot of stuff has dropped recently. I'm gonna try to pull up ESPN too, because ESPN probably has all the new updates to the CBA. I'm kind of torn. We had some breaking news today of the WNBA this season. The players being paid for reaching their for reaching their YouTube threshold, damn near, for finally surpassing the benchmark that was set in their 2020 CBA to release the revenue share reward, if you will. I didn't even realize we had some games today, but we'll leave that alone. WNBA. So yes, the players have surpassed the threshold for the revenue sharing trigger. So now they will be receiving, I believe, $8 million total from the WNBA, because the WNBA, the league itself, gets $8 million for media venture purposes. I'll be real with you. Even when I read about that in, 2020 or 2021, it was like half going to the players and then the other half going to the league for like off-season venture opportunities for some of the players. What that sounded like to me, I'm not disputing the fact that they probably do have some ventures for the players in the off-season, but it sounded like some media ventures for the players in the off-season. But to me, it sounded like kickback. It sounded like kickback for the owners, and that's what I think it is too. It's just half of the 16 million going to the league for media ventures and off-season proposals for players. Sure, you probably do have those things for the players. I'm not claiming that you don't, but it sounds like kickback. If 8 million still going back to the league, it just sounds like kickback. You feel me? So, I mean, something's better than nothing, right? So the players getting 8 mil, finally them reaching the CBA threshold, and I remember seeing that. I remember reading something about it in terms of the old CBA and looking at the threshold they needed to pass because the numbers there, they're not giving the target that was, they're not saying the number that the WNBA actually got to, but they're just letting us know that it has been passed, that the threshold has been passed. And I remember reading something about that where they set that target number two in the previous CBA, and I was just like, here's how I remember looking at it like, damn, they might not hit this for a minute because that's what I was thinking when I was looking at their viewership. Even though all the numbers were going in the right trajectory before Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark arrived and stuff like that, I was looking at the viewership numbers and I remember relaying it to the CBA and I was just like, damn, they might not hit that for another minute. But in walks Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark, and in 2 years, they surpass it. So I think that's pretty dope. Also, they were saying the people that love to say, oh, the WNBA never turns a profit, even though I was hesitant on saying like, oh, not saying that I didn't believe the WNBA has made a profit before, but there was something in that old CBA which the league said, if the WNBP WNBPA wants to ever run their numbers, then it's on the union to get their own lawyers, take the numbers from the WNBA and run it themselves and basically see for themselves to see if you made a profit, if you surpassed this and that, if you've met this threshold and whatnot. So I kind of held off on the whole, oh, the WNBA has never turned a profit, even though I believe they definitely have turned a profit because there's no way that they haven't. I don't believe shit the NBA says about the WNBA, truly. Well, I don't. I'm more reluctant to believe what the NBA says about the WNBA because they're not honest about how they operate the WNBA. So I'm reluctant to believe the NBA. I feel like the W has definitely, no matter what year, there definitely have been multiple years that they turn profit. What my true belief is. Excuse me. But in terms of, I guess, recently, I was more so when I read that part of the CBA, I was just like, I'll stop talking about whether I'm turning the profit or not, because what I haven't heard is the players union running the numbers and letting us know that, oh, something's missing or something's off or these numbers don't make sense or something like that. I haven't heard that from the players union in terms of the turning a profit argument. So I left it alone, even though we could clearly surmise that there's definitely, I don't believe, oh, when Adam Silver comes out and says stuff like, oh, they lose 10 million a year, they lose 50 million a year, and then some of the public eats it up like, bro, you literally take half of their revenue from the get-go. So if you're already dipping your hand into the cookie jar from the get-go and you're claiming that they lose so and so a year, well, yeah, because your cut is so damn big. It's not like you're trying to wait. It's not like the NBA is trying to wait to take it off the back end. They're taking it off the front end from the, like, whatever. They're taking a slice of the pie that usually the players get. Take the NBA for the prime example. Players back then, before the league was even profitable, were still getting 50% of the revenue from the league, right? So the players were getting their slice of the pie before the league even looked at it. But funny how the NBA gets their slice of the pie in the WNBA before the players, and then they're talking about, oh yeah, the WNBA loses money. It's amazing. It's amazing that they can lose so much money, but somehow you still get your piece of the pie. Never really believed much what the NBA had to say about the WNBA, and you guys already know why. We've talked about this before. I told you what I think the NBA has been using the WNBA as, and it's good to see that a lot of people on social media have the same type of sentiments and have the same type of analysis as well, because there's no way you treat an investment doing well like the way the NBA has been treating the WNBA. Like, there have been two high points in the WNBA in its existence, and that was at the beginning and now. And the way they're treating both times, the way they're treating an investment that's flourishing both times should tell you everything about how the NBA actually sees the WNBA and how they treat the WNBA. So that's my entire thing on this, on them, on the WNBA actually passing the threshold. It's just, I'm happy to see it. The arguments of the WNBA has never turned a profit. Yeah, we can put that to bed, but truly, if you're someone like me, you've already known that the W has turned a profit before. You know, unless you're drinking the Kool-Aid that the NBA and Adam Silver gives you. You know, can't help you, but now you can't say anything. You know what I'm saying? They passed their threshold, and the threshold was a number. I remember the target number was just like, I remember looking at it and going, man, how the hell they gonna pass that? That's worse than a YouTube threshold. What the hell? And then they actually did it in 2 years. So again, shouts out to the players. Shouts out to the ladies. That will do it in terms of this, in terms of the profit argument, if you will. Now, breaking news: WNBA has told the union and its teams on Monday that a new CBA must be agreed to by March 10 for the 2026 schedule not to be impacted. Thank you, Captain Obvious. That's what I have to say to that. Thank you, Captain Obvious. The WNBA and WNBPA had a meeting today, a virtual meeting today, on Monday. Let me get into that. Let's get into that. Once again, I haven't seen anything of the WNBA relinquishing their stand on revenue sharing in that system. I just don't. I said this in the last live stream where I told you I feel like a lot of this is moot because the WNBA, powered by the NBA and ran by the NBA, they're not looking to make concessions. That's not. We talked about this before, and I hate to sound like a broken record, but if the NBA never created this thing to take off on its own, right? If it built the WNBA as a colony, they're not trying to now boost this thing into its own self-sufficient country. If you built this thing, if you built this affiliate, this subsidy to extract, you're not going to then go say, oh yeah, fly. go fly. You're now strong enough to fly. Take off on your own. Whatever scraps you have left for us, we'll take up. They're not going to do that, especially if they built you to extract, if they built you to write off, if they built you to clean their money. They're not going to be like, oh yeah, we want you to be a bigger entity. They're going to try to pigeonhole it. They've been trying to pigeonhole the WNBA. They want it to stay at a certain level, and they're putting it back on display now. I told you all this months ago. I tell you guys this almost every stream, so you can't say that I don't. The NBA has a choice. They had a choice when this shit first started. They have a choice now. They can say, okay, you know what? Maybe we need to change our structure on how we're facilitating this colony. Maybe, you know what? Instead of outright being greedy, how about we just discreetly be greedy? I don't know. They have to change their structure. Maybe they think, okay, maybe we ain't just gonna take half of what the league does. But knowing that we're still trying to recoup some of the money that we're putting into the league, we'll let them get their fair share first and then take out what we want at the end. And if we're saying, I don't know, maybe something like that, maybe to the point where they can restructure it so it doesn't, at least so it doesn't look like you're hoeing the players. Because as of right now, there's no way you can try to tell me that you're not hoeing the players. You're telling the players about the deadline they're supposed to hit, or else there won't be a season. Like, could you not make it more evidently clear that you don't give a damn about the players anyway? Could you not make it more evidently clear that you're not trying to pay the players? You're outright playing in the players' face. Does this look like a company that's really trying to grow the W? No. Everyone's saying stuff like, well, we all know negotiations tend to be tense, and negotiations tend to be a whole cluster, you know what I'm saying, of people trying to get their shit off and other people trying to get their shit off. But then that answers my entire, or that solidifies, or that validates my entire theory about all of this. How can you have the affiliate that's doing well and you are the stickler? You're the cynic. That doesn't make excuse me, that doesn't make sense. That makes zero sense why you would be so reluctant to concede on certain things. That makes zero sense, especially if your push is for this thing to max out. It makes zero sense for you to be the person, or you to be the entity holding them back. So all of that literally should prove to y'all that we're right. That here on this channel, we're right. There's no way. It makes zero sense. There's no way that you can be the entity that's supposed to be like, oh man, y'all performing well. Well, LeBron say, you know what? Here go two more for y'all. It's like, here go 2 more milli for y'all. Like, this should be a parent that sees that their child has gotten straight A's in school, and he's like, you know what? We can go to that restaurant you like. Oh, you got straight A's this semester too? All right. What you want the PlayStation Xbox key? What do you want the play? You want the PlayStation Connect? What do you want? You want this game? You want that game? This should be an entity. It's just like, oh, you're performing well. I'm gonna give you more. I'm gonna give you more. I'm gonna give you more. As long as you keep, oh, you're performing well again. I'm gonna give you more. But the players perform well. The league does well, and the league says, nah. Like here's like 25%. Take it or leave it. Take it or strike. That's not an entity that wants you to win. That's not an entity based on your actual. They say it's about the performance of the WNBA, but as you can see, it has nothing to do with the players. It has nothing to do with the union. It's just the fact that they want to keep this ish the same way. They want to keep it as a write-off. And I've talked about this before. They have 2 options. They can decide, do you want to keep it as a write-off, or do you want to restructure it to the point where everybody wins? They do not want to restructure it in a way that everybody wins. They don't want to. They would rather keep the shit as a colony. And again, it baffles my mind because I feel like there are big enough slices for everyone to have. There's no way you're telling me you're going to lose so much restructuring to where everyone gets a nice sizable part of the pie, and it's going to hurt your pockets in terms of your NBA ownership and in terms of your NBA shareholders. I don't. That makes zero sense to me, especially now seeing that they just passed their threshold, a threshold that damn near was super high on the ladder. There's no way you're telling me, oh, this isn't this. You're gonna lose money by restructuring the financing and restructuring the pool you get from. You're gonna lose money because you don't get to put your hand in the candy bucket first. I don't believe that, bro. I seriously don't believe that. Maybe you do lose money the first couple times around, but by the time you actually get everything figured out and the ball's rolling, this shit been going on 1, 2, 3 years. By the time you put your hand back into the candy bucket, it's like you're not digging for necessarily scraps. It's almost like, man, you need 2 hands to extract all this candy. Like, maybe for the first couple of years, it might be like, okay, we're not getting too much. It's like a handful and that's it. Just because it's a new system that's in place, so you probably not necessarily lose the money, but it's not going to be as much as it once was when you can put your hand in the cookie jar first. I don't know does that make sense? Am I making sense? It's like you can decide. You're technically not losing anything. You're just restructuring stuff. So that just means you have to wait. You have to wait. You have to be patient for your turn. And guess what? Just like in the you know what? Not even to make this about America, but even Dr. King said this. He said, the problem with America is not that, well, actually, what did he say? It's not that we can't take money that this country makes to avoid these policies, or that the stuff takes too much money, or that we don't have enough resources for this and that. It's the fact that the people at the highest levels do not want to wait. They want to extract as much as they can right now. He said something along the line. I don't even think this was Dr. King, but it was an economist that he quoted in his book, and the economist said, if some of these people at the higher levels would rather get richer slower instead of getting richer faster, some of these changes, some of these budget changes can be fixed. Some of these programs have all the funding they need if people would just decide, okay, we're going to get richer, but we're going to have to do it slower. And I'm watching it unfold in these WNBA CBA negotiations. It's like the rich just want to get richer faster, and people are telling them, "Yo, you're gonna get your money. It might not be at the pace that you like, but you're going to get it." And they're just like, "Nah, we want our piece first and foremost. Top of the morning, I want my slice of the pie." That's exactly what I see unfolding in these WNBA CBA negotiations. The exact thing I see. And the NBA have literally, they can tell it, they can say themselves, okay, we're going to change this. We're going to change this to where, you know what, everyone gets a piece of the pie. Everyone goes home feeling good. They're just like, nah. Now please keep in mind that the NBA was giving its players 50% of the revenue even when they weren't profitable. The WNBA is profitable, and it doesn't even matter if they weren't. They're not even getting 30%. NBA players were getting 50%. And they can and the WNBA players have to concede off of 30 for an average of 27.5. That's crazy. That's crazy to think of. It's crazy to think of. So again, I'm just going to keep monitoring these WNBA, CBA negotiations. Again, I'm not getting my hopes up. What is the point of the WNBA, NBA telling the players union that, hey, we got to figure this issue out by March 10th, or else y'all going to start messing with the league and this league schedule, as if they don't know that. As if they're the ones trying to hold themselves. Like, what point do you gain in that? They're trying to push the players to strike. They haven't wanted to run the W for a while now. They've been wanting to shut this ish down for a while now. But they were just like, okay, well, it's, you know what it is? It's a policy that a lot of these powerful entities have. They would rather blow everything up if it means that they can't extract. If they can't get the goods that they want from it, to hell with it. They'll crash the entire ship if they're the ones not steering. They will sabotage the entire ship if they're the ones not driving, if they're the ones not in the driver's seat. That's exactly what's going on in these negotiations. They want to be in the driver's seat, and they're just like, okay, go ahead, strike. You think I give a damn? This is literally the system of America playing out in the WNBA negotiations. You're just like, yeah, go ahead, strike. What are you gonna do? Yeah, you want to strike? Go ahead, strike. I want you to strike. I want you to strike. You're going to be crawling back to me. I want you to strike. Please strike. As long as they're in the driver's seat, they don't give a damn. They would rather off everybody before they lose control of the steering wheel. Before they lose their driver's controls, they would rather this burn to the ground. They would rather go down in the driver's seat than relinquish power. That's exactly what's happening here. So, that being said, I'm just going to leave the WNBA CBA negotiations because the WNBA and the NBA, they want the players to strike. They want the players to strike. They're trying to push the players to the edge. I don't think the WNBA NBA is going to concede. The reason why I don't think that is because I think they're not going to let the players or the players union not bully, but influence. They don't want it to seem like the players won. I understand something here, man. The eyes of the country are on these negotiations. If there's one thing these systems don't want to show or don't want to be a part of, is the people power winning. So one thing they're not going to do is let the players union win this. Not on the players on the union's term. Nah. The country doesn't like or want unions. Matter of fact, they might be being a-holes just because they're going up against a union and they wanna flex to the people like, hey man, like, yeah, you could have all these unions all you want, but we still got the power over here. So there, if anything, the change would happen after the players strike. Because then the NBA can make it look like, oh, we've made a couple of concessions here, player made a couple of concessions here. What they really would be doing is, because again, I think the corporations are going to end up coming to the aid of the WNBA players, the companies that sponsor some of these players, the Nikes of the world, the State Farms of the world. Some of these corporations are going to come to the aid of some of these players because they got product to push as well. They're not trying to be wasting their contracts and their checks on players that aren't going to be exposed or under the public eye for the time that they want them to be under, or that they know they're going to be under the public eye. So these corporations, I think, are going to come to the WNBA players' aid, and they're basically going to say, while they're on strike, if there is a strike, they're basically going to be pushing the NBA, being like, hey, these concessions have to be like, stop playing around. So it's like, if they're on strike, you better be using this time to restructure whatever it is you wanted to restructure. You got what you wanted, right? The players called a strike. You let the players suffer a little bit. You got what you wanted. You're still in the driver's seat. Okay, now make these changes and get this season back underway, or get the season underway. Make your changes. They're not. I don't think the WNBA and NBA are going to concede before these deadlines. I don't think they are. I don't think they are. They're not going to allow a players or a union to win, especially under the spotlight. They would rather concede when the spotlight isn't necessarily there. You see what I'm saying? When the players disperse and they're all over the world playing overseas, working their other jobs and stuff like that, then you'll see the NBA make a few concessions. But they're not under the spotlight, under the public eye. I don't think they're going to try and I don't think they let the union win. So they will purposefully push these players to strike and then make their changes when the spotlight is off them, so it doesn't look too bad. So it looks like, oh well, you know what, they conceded on some things. They paved the way. They fixed it because the players were the ones that struck. Right? The players voted to strike. So props to the WNBA, props to the NBA for finally fixing things and getting everything back on track, because it was the players who were playing the hardball. See what I'm saying? This is politics, man. This is politics. But this is I think this is really covering a much broader aspect of American life, actually, of the United States way of life, if you will. So that being said, we can spend the last 15, 20 minutes now. I'm gonna try to keep this at an hour live stream. I don't want this to go over. I actually think I just cooked right there. I really do think I just cooked right there, because if you pay attention, I'm not basing this off of opinion. I'm basing this off of the system that that we live under. And certain parts of the system are very predictable. And I would be surprised if certain things are changed. I'd be surprised if there are actual constructive negotiations and productive results. I would be surprised by that because I know the system doesn't bathe in logic or productivity or sense or logic for that matter. You see what I'm saying? So I actually y'all let me know in the chat, let me know in the comments. I'm pretty sure I low key cooked right there. I low key cooked right there. Anyway, let's get into the fun stuff now. Sorry, I know my voice is still croaky. Hopefully, it's not annoying to y'all. Where were we? Because last time, did we do ESPN's mock draft? Damn. 2 weeks ago, 14 days to February 10th, and my last live stream was 16 days ago. Huh. Or about 17 days ago. So February 6th. So we're going to start right here. That's right. So previous week, by the way, your boy actually passed his performance enhancement exam. So you're looking at a very new performance enhancement. You're looking at the newest performance enhancement specialist, certified. You know what I'm saying? Talk to me nice. That's what I was doing 2 weeks ago. You know what I'm saying? And I passed my exam. Gang, you know what I'm saying? So I'm out here, by the way. I'm out here. We over here cooking, all right? And then obviously last week I got sick. So during all that time, I was kind of away after the last live stream. ESPN dropped their mock draft of the first round, and then oh look, it's Gianna. Gianna Deepkins is so pretty. Then Bleacher Report, led by Hunter Cruz. So shout out Hunter Cruz. He dropped his mock draft of the first round, I believe, too. I think. You see, okay, so that was just the first round as well. And then we have USA Today dropped their mock draft first round. And then I had an interesting post here. Highest points per shot attempt versus ranked opponents among notable 2026 WNBA guard prospects. We'll get into that later. And then we have CBS Sports unveiling their WNBA draft. What were we here? WNBA draft big board. It was like a tier level type draft big board, not necessarily WNBA mock draft. But yeah, we're gonna go ahead and hop into these 3-4 lists. The points per shot attempt, that was, I think, just something interesting. And I also just saw Gianna Deepkins on it, so I bookmarked it. They really have nothing to do, but just again, Washington, Friday is a good day to catch a fade. Washington Mystics, Friday is a good day to catch a fade. All right. Anytime I see Gianna, I'm so locked in on Gianna. Anytime I see anything Gianna, I'm just like, what they say about G? What they say about G? Mystics, DC. Hello. Let me check the camera real quick, then we're gonna get into this mock draft. All right. That's somewhat unfortunate, but I also think this will actually land us at about an hour. So without further ado, we got like 12% left, so maybe in the 6% it's like 15 minutes. 15 minutes. Let's go ahead and get into ESPN's mock draft. All right. 6 minutes. Where are we? I think we're at about 40 minutes on the stream. I really do want to get back to keeping the streams at 50 minutes. I'm probably not going to have it at that because we're doing the CBA breakdowns. But we did cover everything I wanted to. Chicago, CBA updates, and now we're going to get into the mock draft. So this will be about an hour. Really, the overall goal is to keep the streams at below an hour. Then I'll try to get back to 45 minute streams. But I have been away for 2 weeks, so we might have to stretch it. All right, let's do this. About 17 minutes left. Okay, we got it. We can make good time, especially with the camera almost with the camera nodding off. All right, let's go ahead and do this. There we go. All right, ESPN mock draft first round. This was dropped February 13th, so about 10 days ago. This is like ESPN's first mock draft that I've seen this year. They haven't done a mock draft in a minute. So this, when it dropped, I was just like, oh, I'm gonna do a live stream on this one. So here we are. Let's go ahead and go through it, man. 1 to 15 picks. At number 1, they got AZ Fudd going to Dallas. We talked about this last time. Yes, AZ Fudd to Dallas is a very viable pick, feasible. Number 2, they have Awafam going to Minnesota. Once again, whatever Minnesota does is a toss-up. It's a toss-up. I don't know what Minnesota wants to do. I really don't know what Minnesota wants to do. But let's say I don't think Minnesota's high on AZ Fudd. Like, let's say Dallas chose Awafam first or chose whoever first. I don't think Minnesota would be going AZ Fudd. Now, I've seen in some mock drafts, and I think it was the Bleacher Report one, or it might have been, but I saw AZ Fudd going to Seattle, and they were like, "Oh, AZ Fudd would never fall to number 2." But I don't think Minnesota's that high on. I don't think they necessarily. It's not that they're not high on her, but I don't think they necessarily care about picking up an AZ Fudd at number 2. Why would they do that? It doesn't necessarily. It really doesn't make sense for them either. Why would they pick up AZ Fudd at number 2? When you're coming in to be a younger, maybe better Kayla McBride. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't necessarily make sense. I can see Minnesota passing on an AZ Fudd, so maybe AZ could fall out of the top 2. Definitely still possible for AZ Fudd to fall out of the top 2. Okay, is she a lotto pick? I believe so. I definitely believe so. I don't think 3 teams pass on her. If 3 teams pass on her, that issue would be crazy. But who would be that third player? Because Miles is definitely going. Maybe Lauren Betts goes. I'm really trying to look from a team's perspective on some of these players because I'm trying not to look with my scout's eye, because I know that a lot of these teams don't have my eye, and they might be all goo goo gaga over a Lauren Betts, while I'm over here like, what the fuck? I'm over here like, well, what the Lauren Betts, yuck. You know what I'm saying? I might be over here like, yuck, and then these teams over here like, oh my God, we need Lauren. Anyway, let's go ahead and get into number 3. Olivia Miles projected to go to Seattle. Again, toss up with what Minnesota does. But if AZ goes first, if Iowa goes second, yes, Olivia Miles would be going to Seattle. And Lord knows, I like Olivia Miles in Seattle. I really do. I think she would work well. I think she would work better than Sky Diggins. I really do think she would work better in Seattle than Skylar. Number 4, ESPN got Lauren Betts projected to go to Washington Mystics. Now, again, y'all know who I want at number 4. I'm saying, say her name. Gianna Neepkins. I don't want to see Betts. Please, no Betts. Don't actually piss me off, ESPN. Lauren Betts, number 4. I've said this before. I don't think Lauren Betts is a lotto pick. She's not. She really isn't. If we're going off of just even floor, ceiling, skill, talent, to me, she's not. As of right now, she's not lotto. If I was working with her this entire season, boy, she would be the same way how she was coming into the season projected number 1. She would still be projected number 1. But notice how she has moved. Yes, the lottery shook things up. Yes, Dallas having the number 1 pick shook things up. But notice how Lauren Betts ain't really in the top 3 no more. Interesting. When everyone was riding her shit before the season started. Funny. Now she's dropping the 4 to the Mystics. Mystics, please, bro. Don't do that to me, okay? I see Lauren Betts dropping out of the lotto, actually. Again, it's kind of up to Minnesota. I don't think Dallas is that stupid that they would get a Lauren Betts over an AZ Fudd. Seattle, they don't necessarily need Lauren Betts, especially with, Dominique being on the team. So, there's a very big chance that Lauren Betts drops out of the lotto, which I think she should be out of anyway. So, number 5, Flau'jae Johnson to Chicago. I guess ESPN is still liking the idea of Flau'jae going to Chicago. It's not bad. They could use a Flau'jae. Yes, they need a guard. They need a perennial guard. I like the Flau'jae pickup. I still like that Flau'jae pickup at 5. I really do. I like that Flau'jae, Tanaya. I like Cody McMahon too. And oddly enough, Cody McMahon is number 6 on this projected mock draft. I will say Cody has been a stock raiser. Even though I try not to treat these senior seasons like the power rankings, she looks good. She looks good. She looks like a player Chicago could use. I don't think the spacing would be ass. The spacing would be terrible. It would be so bad. Trying to run a pick and roll with Cody McMahon in the Twin Tower. Whoo! I can smell the turnovers. Trying to run a pick and roll with Cody McMahon and Angel Reese. I can smell the lack of versatility. I can taste the leather. She would be good there, but she would be the only functioning component of that pick and roll. I'll leave it alone. We'll get into the Chicago breakdown later. Number 7, they got Nellen Gloma, the overseas player, going to Portland Fire. I think a lot of these mock drafts like putting their overseas players on the expansion teams. I find that pretty funny because I figure the expansion teams would want a domestic player for more reasons than one. But they got a lot of these overseas players going to. Iyanna Martin at number 8 going to the Golden State Valkyries. Golden State, they seem to have an affinity for overseas players, but I checked out Iyanna Martin again a couple months ago. I wasn't impressed. I wasn't moved. And I just don't think an expansion team would go for an overseas player when the very next pick in this mock draft by ESPN, by the way, has Gianna Neepkins going number 9 to the Mystics. Now, if we did not select G at number 4, but she still fell to us at number 9, boy would be a happy camper. We it might get iffy because, there's still one more player I want. But if Gianna was still on the board to fall to a team at number 9, oh my goodness. Fire everyone in the scouting department from all of the teams above. That's what I say. Hell, Gianna Neepkins is no. I'll leave it alone. Gianna Neepkins, low key though. I've said this on this channel. I think she's a lotto pick. There's no way. Arguably the best shooter in the draft. Arguably, I think one of the more versatile shooters. So she fell to us at number 9. Past both expansion teams, highly doubt that. But hello, ESPN. This is what y'all get paid to do. You know what I'm saying? Number 10, Medina Okot from South Carolina going to Indiana. Something tells me Medina might be a little higher on this list. I think a Toronto or a Portland might want to start the franchise with a Medina Okot. Real life. 10 is kind of 10. If Indiana were to get a player like Medina at 10, still, I think Medina Okot goes higher. And if they're using that senior season as a power ranking, after what I saw her do yesterday to Ole Miss, come on now. Medina if we're going to kick out some of the overseas players, because I don't know how hyped the overseas players are and how these teams feel about the overseas players, Medina Okot could be going a lot higher than 10. Low key. At number 11, they got Ashlyn Jackson. Ashlyn Jackson going to the Washington Mystics. This I felt like was a power ranking prediction. Yeah, Duke is hooping. I like Ashlyn Jackson. I don't think she's a first round pick. This first round is a little too stacked. It really is. It's a little too stacked. I don't think Ashlyn Jackson goes 11. And if I had it my way, as YouTube GM of the Sticks, I would not be picking up Ashlyn Jackson. I would not be picking up no Ashlyn Jackson, bro. Yeah, I wouldn't be picking up no Ashlyn Jackson at number 11. I would, yeah, you know who I want at number 11. Anyway, number 12, Kiki Rice going to Connecticut. I can see Kiki Rice going late first round. I don't think Kiki Rice should be going higher first round. There's still some limitations I see on her game, really in terms of just her dribbling and her shot reluctancy. So I can see Kiki Rice going late first round as well. Now, who I'm surprised to see here is Tanai Lotson at 13 going to Atlanta. Tanai Lotson, there is a chance that Tanai Lotson could dip. Again, power ranking senior years. There is a chance that Tanai Lotson could dip, depending on how these GMs and scouts really operate. Seeing her dip to the late first round is kind of surprising. And then going to Atlanta wouldn't necessarily be a bad spot for her to be in, but at least she's a little bit more vibrant than a Jordan Canada. At least she will shoot. At least she will shoot the ball. At number 14, they have Marta Suarez, TCU, going to Seattle. Marta Suarez, as you all know, is, the other player I want in DC. And number 15, Gabriela Jaquez makes the first round, going to Connecticut. Interesting. So that's ESPN's mock draft of the first round. Who I'm surprised by is Ashlyn Jackson making her way into the first round. This player, Iana Martin. Hopefully I'm not confusing her with someone else, but I watched Iana Martin. Again, I wasn't really too impressed. It was very one-handed dominant. I think it was her left hand. Very left-hand dominant. Giving me Haley Van Lith vibes. A lot of people are still high on Gabriela Jaquez going in the first round. I don't know. Gabriela would have to surprise me, because she kind of gives me Lexi Hull vibes, because I didn't think Lexi Hull was really going to be much in the W, but Lexi Hull is she's somewhat decent. I can see the ceiling with Lexi Hull. So maybe that might be Gabriela Jaquez. Anyway, let's go ahead and hop into Bleacher Reports before my camera dies. Bleacher Report mock draft. This is made by Hunter Cruz himself. At number 1, he has Dallas taking Awa Pham. Could happen. Could definitely happen. At number 2, he has Olivia Miles going to Minnesota. Again, that could happen as well. I don't know how high Minnesota is on having another guard or facilitating guard. At least she'd be bigger, run the show. This might be, now I think about it, the way she's dominating on the ball, but she's also pass first, can also get her own bucket. I'd say a better facilitator than Courtney Williams. Can run pick and roll with the bigs, and her bigs in Minnesota would be 10,000 times better than Clara Silva at TCU. I think Minnesota might be high on Olivia Miles. Real shit. Matter of fact, put a pin in this. AZ Fudd Dallas, Olivia Miles Minnesota. AZ Fudd 1, Olivia Miles 2. AZ Fudd 1, Olivia Miles 2. Calling it right now. Those are the top 2 in this year's draft. AZ Fudd 1, Olivia Miles 2. I think Minnesota might be high on Olivia Miles. Just my guess. And number 3, obviously, AZ Fudd going to Seattle. This to me sounds like a pick that would just make best player available. Number 4, Lauren Betts going to Washington again. I just don't, not even saying this as the Lauren Betts critic I am, but I don't think Lauren Betts goes in the lotto. I really don't. We have Kiki Rice going number 5 to Chicago. What part of Kiki, what happened when Kiki don't shoot the ball in Chicago? Why would Chicago be picking up Kiki Rice? Just to have another guard who doesn't want to shoot the ball. If Kiki was at least somewhat trigger happy, then I could see her going to Chicago. But why would Chicago waste the pick on Kiki Rice? Kiki don't even want to shoot the ball like that. Kiki Rice don't even have a handle like that. You want Kiki Rice? All right, okay. Come on, Hunter, sharpen up, bro. Like Kiki to Chicago. They need scoring at the guard position, not rebounding. Anyway, 6, Flau'jae Johnson going to Portland. If Kiki Rice goes 5th. 7, Tanaya Lotson going to Toronto. 8th, Nellen Gloma, overseas player, EuroLeague player, going to Golden State Valkyries. I can see that happening. I think, again, Golden State would probably say, F it, we're running Euros anyway. Plus, there might be some chemistry with the overseas type players. At number 9, Gianna Kneepkins, another projection of Gianna Kneepkins going to Washington. At number 10, Gabriela Jaquez going to Indiana. You guys are so high on Gabriela Jaquez, boy. Holy hell. I don't see it, but, respect for having number 11, Raven Johnson, on the list. I think Raven Johnson, there has to be a case for Raven Johnson going in the first round. There has to be a case. I think she might be going to Connecticut because Connecticut has the 12th and the 15th pick. I think there's a chance Raven Johnson goes to Connecticut. Real shit. 11 to the Washington Mystics. I don't think we're picking up a guard, especially having Georgia and whatnot. We just need a 3, so I don't see us picking up a guard. But Raven Johnson is projected at number 11. 12, Laney White. I forget where Laney White's from. I forget what school. I'm blanking on that. But Hunter has her projected going to Connecticut at number 12. Janiah Barker makes her way onto a first round list. Janiah Barker to Atlanta at number 13. Tony Morgan from Kentucky getting picked up in the first round, going to Seattle. I don't know about that. Tony Morgan, first round. Interesting. And a Medina Ocut at number 15 going to Connecticut. I don't know if Medina Ocut falls last pick of the first round. Crazy. And what I don't see on these mock drafts is Reagan Beers. I don't see. Oh my goodness. Wait, did I save it? Low key, saved it. Yes. So let me finish this point, and then I'm gonna let the camera charge. Actually, be able to sign off here. I think I did save it. Did I actually save it? Did I save the live stream? Low-key saved it. I'm clutch. Low-key saved it. I'm clutch. Yes, I was bringing up the fact that Reagan Beers, I have not seen Reagan Beers on these lists. And that was basically the last point I made because I said I would get into the other list later. We have the USA Today list to do. And then CBS Sports' mock draft to do. So we will do those mock drafts next time on the next live stream. That should be about Wednesday or Thursday. Excuse me. But I think those are the only lists we really have to go over. The only other draft like projections or mock drafts that I'm really looking at are just ones that some of the pages I follow on really on Twitter. I haven't seen too many major sports outlets do mock drafts because, like we said, ESPN, they just did one for the first time in a couple months, right? I'm pretty sure when I first kicked this channel back up, I was doing like a mock draft every 3 months. Damn, they're doing mock drafts more than ESPN. So we'll get back into our mock draft flow probably this Wednesday or Thursday. I want to wait until after the big slate of games, so probably Thursday. Be on the lookout for another live stream Thursday. My last point was that I have not seen Reagan Beers on these mock drafts, even though I think in terms of bigs available in this draft, I'm pretty sure, and I think we talked about this last time too, but Medina Okut, Reagan Beers should be up there, should be maybe not lotto picks, but they should be getting the same type of coverage and clout as a Lauren Betts. Because those are the other two, I'd make the argument that those other two are better than Lauren Betts. If you want to say Lauren Betts has a higher ceiling, have at it. I'll give you that argument. But the other two bigs that I just don't see, I think Medina Okut's getting a little bit more love now, especially recent performances and that she plays for South Carolina and they actually see that she's solid. But Reagan Beers, that can be, and I think Hunter Cruz, shout out to Hunter Cruz, but I think he made a list the other day too that covered Reagan Beers' ceiling. I'm trying to remember if she was on that list. I remember Marta Suarez was on that list, and he gave Marta Suarez a 30, which put her at positional role player or something like that, like rotational player. I don't remember seeing Reagan Beers on that list, but I'm thinking about the terms of Stephanie Dolson. If Stephanie Dolson is still good to have a roster spot in Big 2026, Reagan Beers needs to be going in the first round. For some reason, I thought Reagan Beers was a much better free throw shooter than she actually is. It turns out she's not. I'm not sure how that happened. I really thought she was a better free throw shooter. But I guess she's not. But Reagan Beers needs to be on these mock drafts. And if I take a quick look at maybe, let's say, USA Today's first round, she's still not there. I see more Marta Suarez and more Ashlyn Jackson. Well, actually, now looking at this USA Today list, this ish look like they just copied. It just look like they copied Bleacher Reports or ESPN's and just threw some of the same names on it. They have Medina Okut at 10, Kiki Rice at 9 going to the Mystics, Cody McMahon at 12 going to Connecticut, Raven Johnson 13. Actually, it's not necessarily a bad list. They got Marta Suarez going to Seattle. Suarez. Yeah, I still see no Reagan Beers. That's kind of wild to me. Let me see if I have time. Hopefully the camera don't die on me a second time, but I'll try to look at. It's a little bit lower. It's a little bit lower on the bookmarks. I'll try to find Hunter Cruz's projected player roles in the WNBA. Because I'm trying to remember if he had Reagan Beers on it. So let me see if I can find that. If I can't find that, I'll just go ahead and log off the live stream. But I believe... I know black. Negro nunca negro. More mock drafts. Okay, here it was. 1 through 15, no Reagan Beers. The last player was 15, Marta Suarez, with a median of 30, meaning she would be a solid depth player. Wild. That's crazy that he was projecting Cody McMahon as a depth, Raven Johnson as a depth player. Gianna Neepkins was a 40, so top back 40, a rotation caliber player. Nah, Gianna could be a starter. Hell no. We might have to go over this list. I might have to make a video of this. But yeah, that's going to do it for this live stream, guys. I don't see any. Yeah, so Reagan Beers, I guess, wasn't on the list. So I do think she should be on a couple more mock drafts, especially a couple first-round mock drafts. But that's going to do it for this live stream. I do want to sign off before this ish dies again, but I really do appreciate you all checking it out. I saw that there were a couple of likes dropped on the live stream. I appreciate that more than you all know, especially doing this while I was sick. Hopefully I wasn't too much of a pain to put up with, but I really do appreciate you guys checking out this live stream, engaging with the content, always helping to push these hoops conversations forward. I appreciate you guys taking out the time to listen, to watch, to engage, whatever on this channel. It might not just be the live streams, it might be the videos, the playlists, all that other stuff. I really do appreciate it. I'll see you guys on Thursday. I'm going to lock that in. Thursday, I'll be seeing you guys live streaming, probably somewhere around 7, 8 o'clock, 7 to 9 o'clock. Check me out then. Until next time, take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay blessed. It's been your boy Hendrix. I'm out of here. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.